I just got back from the Consumer Electronics Show where I saw lots of cool things like robots and giant TVs and cool projectors and strange EVs, smart home devices that could change your life and more. Along the way, I got lots and lots and lots of footage for videos that I'll probably never even get to make because I just don't have the time. And I couldn't help but notice something along the way. Every second or third person recording video was using the same camera I was. The camera you're looking through right now, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Let's talk about why so many of us are using this camera and what I did to make mine work better than most others. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is a gimbal style camera with a fairly large sensor for something that looks so small. It's lightweight and fairly affordable at about $520 for the starting price. I decided to take it with me this year because last year I made the mistake of using this camera, a Canon Vixia HF G70 video recording camera. Now I love this camera. It's perfect for my needs. It's not on the incredibly awesome expensive size and you can't swap out lenses and get cool bokeh effects like maybe I'd like to do someday. But for putting together simple videos where I can depend on focus and I can get good 4K video, it's within my budget and it's perfect for this setting right here. You know what it's terrible for? Anything involving travel. It's heavy, it's big, and it's a bear to get out and set up when you're on the go. So as I'm walking miles and miles and miles and miles, I mean like 100 miles it felt like through the Consumer Electronics Show, I'm trying to do two things. Make new relationships with the companies that might send me review products and record the cool stuff that they're announcing. That's a hard job to do by yourself to begin with, which is partly why I took help this year. But it's all the worse when you have to try and make all that contact and get all that talking done and then, hold on, let me get this big camera out of my bag and get it set up and see about focus. And yeah, I know it looks weird compared to other people's, it's just not convenient. And so I came home from the last Consumer Electronics Show without enough footage, like really not enough at all. And what footage I did have was often taken by my phone, which caused its own problems, like the times that I accidentally took a photo instead of recording a video, and thus I missed out on some really great hover air footage that first year. I wasn't gonna make that mistake again. As it happens, I recently added this camera to my setup anyways, because I wanted a second camera, and this has some really great features. One that I thought I would use was face tracking. You'll notice I'm not using it because I've listened to your comments. Every time I turned face tracking on and it followed me around as I tend to move and talk, all of you complained because it looked unnatural, and I have to admit, yes, it did. The Pocket 3's face tracking is meant for when you're walking and talking and trying to keep yourself in focus without having to look too much at the screen below it. But for a second angle, it's working perfectly. I do have to do some color correcting, or I should say, my editor does have to do some color correcting to get this camera and its D-Log settings set up with my Canon camera with its own settings so that they work close together. There's a process for that, but overall you can get some pretty decent, consistent results. At least I think so. But the Pocket 3 came with some other great benefits, like the fact that I can get closer into products and feel more comfortable doing that than I can with a great big huge video recording device, or even with my phone for that matter. And it has some stabilization so that when I am walking and talking, or so that when I am moving across an item, it looks better for it. It's not perfect stabilization, I should mention. There's no up and down gyro aspect to it. So if you're bouncing along or if you're trying to do a long sweeping maneuver, there will be some upwards jitter and it doesn't look as good. For that, I put my phone in a little sliding device that will help me out. I'll link that below in case you're interested. But for everything else, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 makes my life easier, especially at CES. Let me tell you why. If you've never been to the Consumer Electronics Show, the first thing you should know about it is there is a lot of walking. I mean, a lot of walking. I average somewhere between 9,000 and 11,000 steps every day at CES. And that's just so much. I'm still recovering from it some, just so you know. When you're walking that far for that long, we're talking 10 to 12 hour days at times, every pound matters. And that's where my Canon camera was a problem. It's heavy. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is super lightweight. It's 6.4 ounces, which is a little less than my iPhone 15 Pro. That's amazing considering it can produce video nearly as good as my iPhone 15 Pro, and in some cases better because of the stabilization involved. Then you have great little features like the ability to rotate on a point so you can get those nice spinny shots I've featured in a couple of videos lately. And you can get up close and personal with products and items and not feel like you're having to maneuver around as much. At Consumer Electronics Show, everyone's trying to get the best shot, so you're often fighting other people in a way to get into that perfect point, and having a smaller camera really helps with that. I saw some of the big YouTubers walking around with giant rigs, and while that probably gave them really great footage for talking heads, when it came time to get up and close with that new projector or that cool chess playing robot, it was probably more difficult. They might have been able to zoom, sure, but only if something wasn't in their way or someone wasn't in their way. Probably me or my camera person, because we had to get aggressive to get that good footage. The Osmo Pocket 3 made that possible for me. It's also really helpful that it's incredibly easy to use. Even if you don't get into more advanced features like those spinning shots and so on, you can basically just point and shoot and get really good footage. My only complaints are color. The default coloring is not that great. It's what I used for CES because I didn't have time to do the other option, which is record in D-Log and then color grade later. And focus. You see, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I hate saying that name by the way, has a tiny little screen that gives you all your feedback on what things look like right now. You flip it horizontal for horizontal video, you flip it vertical for vertical video, and that, by the way, is fantastic. I've recorded so many shorts in this world where we have to do shorts these days, along with my long videos that I prefer. It gave me quick options to do a shot twice and get it both ways, and then figure out what to do later. But I couldn't tell if I was in focus, not with just that little screen. I've never been able to tell if I'm in focus. And the Osmo Pocket 3 has lots of focusing options, but none of them are very good. You can do a single shot focus, and that's what I'm on right now. That works when everything is basically more or less staying still, when the camera isn't moving and it just has to focus on me. You can do face tracking, which all of you hate, so I turned that off in this particular setting, but it's more useful when you're walking along and doing selfie style vlog videos that I don't tend to do. And you can do a continual focus that tries to find the subject and focus in on it, and it's terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. If anything changes about the scene at all, it will shift its focus from foreground to background, back to foreground, and somehow it will never actually pick the thing you want. And you can tap on the screen and try and get there, but it's still not great and it's not guaranteed to stay. One focus mode I probably don't use enough is product focus mode. This is one that focuses in on your face, and then if you hold a product out to the camera, it will focus in on that item instead. It's really super useful, and I like how well it works. Single focus is the best option for most cases in my scenario, but I have to know that the single focus hit the right thing or tap on it. And that's where the easy solution comes into play, or even better, my more extensive solution that's really affordable. So you can wirelessly connect your phone to the Osmo Pocket 3 and use it as a confidence monitor. But the problem with doing that is now you're holding two devices trying to get the right shot. You're looking here while doing this, and it's really not that convenient. Unless you do what I did. And I'm honestly a little shocked to see that no one else did this. I saw lots of Osmo Pocket 3s without their battery handles. We'll talk about those in just a second. And without any sort of confidence monitor going on. I'm pretty sure a lot of them got out of focus footage. I am using a really affordable, less than $30 rig to hold my Pocket 3, my phone, and even my microphone transmitter, although I'm gonna give up on that. And we'll talk about that too while we're at it. With this rig, I can mount it on a tripod. That's where it's at right now. It's on the rig on a tripod. Or I can hold it in a nice steadying position. One hand around the Osmo Pocket 3, the other around my phone, and I can get that nice close-in option. Have you seen those rigs that let you put your phone in a big old square thing and then you can hold it and you're much more steady for it? This is effectively the same result, but with the added bonus of stabilization from the gimbal camera. This particular rig that I'll link below comes with everything you need. It has the actual metal piece, it has the phone mount, it has the threaded screw piece you need to connect the DJI to the rig itself. All in one simple solution. The only thing you'll need to provide is a way to connect the transmitter if you're not using a DJI microphone. And that's something I probably would change next year. I use Rode microphones in this setting, and I will continue to use them because I like this wireless setup with the lavalier. I get good audio for it. But it does not connect directly to the camera. And then rubber band it down to the rig and get a small little cord. It's not very convenient, and it kind of got in the way some as I was recording. It did the job, but it wasn't great. If you have a DJI microphone, however, it will connect directly to the Osmo Pocket 3, which has its own built-in DJI transmitter, and then you won't have to connect anything else to the rig. In the future when I travel, I'll have a DJI microphone that I'll connect directly to the Pocket 3 and just make life easier. And I've mentioned the battery handle a couple of times now, and that, in my opinion, is a necessity that I kind of wish came with the device without some bundle add-on. I'm surprised at the number of people I saw walking around with just the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, no battery extender. DJI says that you should get about 166 minutes or so of recording time when you're at 4K resolution. And in my experience, that's not really true. But that's not a hard problem to solve if you're willing to spend a little money. Buy one of the DJI battery handles that connects to the bottom of the Pocket 3, and suddenly you have extended battery life and actually a little more ergonomic hold while you're at it, should you choose to skip the rig I'm suggesting. It makes the device a little longer and fits better in the hand. Plus, it provides that USB-C port that I use to connect my Rode wireless microphones. As for what battery life is like, well, it depends on how intensively you record. When I went through the LG booth, I completely drained the battery handle, but I still had battery life left in the camera itself, so I could keep recording video. And when I had the chance, I swapped out to a second battery handle I had on hand. It was a little inconvenient to unscrew it from the rig, but after that, it's a quick USB-C connection and you're off to the races. The one downside is that since my Rode transmitter was connected to the battery handle, if that died, I lost audio. That's one more reason why I'll probably just switch to a DJI microphone when I'm traveling exclusively with the Pocket 3 in the future. But nonetheless, with just 2 battery handles and a power pack on hand, I actually used iFixit's soldering station battery. It has 2 USB-C ports on the front and it worked perfect. Then I could actually record with one handle connected to the camera and the other charging in my bag along with my phone when necessary and keep going all day long. I only occasionally kind of wished for a third one, and that's when I forgot to charge my battery pack one day. That's on me. The rest of the days though, 2 was just fine. I just had to pay attention to when the battery handle died so I didn't lose my audio. Thankfully, on the one occasion where that did happen, my Rode wireless microphones actually keep their own history and I was able to pull the audio from that to keep good audio going. There's sort of an unspoken but well-known truth at this point on YouTube, and that's sometimes it's hard to trust reviews. I personally got bit by that once. I bought one of those Rode shotgun mics that's supposed to be ultra affordable and sound great. And if you go back to, I think about a year ago-ish, maybe a little more, you'll hear so much echo in my videos. And I really tried to solve that problem. I put foam all throughout my studio. I have carpet down. I started loading in books. I was looking for every source of what that bad audio could be, and it was the microphone that came highly regarded and highly recommended in several dozen sponsored videos. That was the problem. They were sponsored videos. They were kind of told what to say, and they knew better than me how to set the microphone up to get rid of that echo. If you're just the average person or you're still learning to YouTube like I was, you'll never figure that out. I was kind of duped, or at least I felt like that, by sponsored videos. And you might be thinking that might be the case with the Osmo Pocket 3, right? There are so many videos about it right now. How great it is, all kinds of tips and tricks and what you should do, and I put off buying one because I assumed it was another case of sponsored content overload. But here's the truth. DJI didn't pay me for this video. They didn't even send me a review unit. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with accepting free review units to get to know a product and release a review. You should mention in the description, this provided by company, just so everyone knows that there's maybe a little bit of influence in there from a free product. I do approach my reviews thinking about price, because in many cases, I send them back after I'm done, unless the company just refuses to take them back. And I have to think to myself, when this is gone, would I spend the money to get it back? I've done that more than once. Bought a review product that I really loved and I had to send back and I didn't want to lose. But this isn't even that case. I bought the Osmo Pocket 3 with my own hard cash, including the rig I'm recommending and the battery handles that I'm recommending. I haven't bought lenses for it yet that you can use to improve the video even more, but I'm thinking about doing that. I haven't had the need to do so just yet because my editor is pretty good at color grading, but I might to make their life easier. This is a game-changing camera, and I say that out of my own personal experience, having spent the hard cash to buy one. I wish I had bought it sooner, because it did give me a new angle to record from. It helped make my videos more interesting, and because it did let me travel more easily with less weight. My feet hurt less this year after CES, in part because I dumped a bunch of weight. I was able to record as much as I want to on this, swap out the SD cards as needed, and put the video on my computer at the hotel room that I left because I didn't feel the need to carry it and dump constantly, hoping to get good video published as fast as possible. I had new options here. And I have new options when I'm doing my reviews to get you better product footage, to get you closer shots of what's going on, to give you new, unique angles. And I hope you've seen the difference in the Anoraker channel since I've upgraded my camera setup. I'm still considering more upgrades as we go. I might switch out this main camera someday because as good as the Canon is, it still lacks some features I'd like. But I'm not large enough that any company's offering me free cameras right now, and I'm not sure I would take it anyways because I like paying my own way wherever possible, especially for stuff I intend to keep and recommend. And that's kind of where you come in. You're helping me grow when you subscribe, and you're helping me grow if you become a member as well. I actually don't have any YouTube members right now, but I'm hoping I will soon, because that will continue to give me the more stability I have to continue improving this channel and bring in new devices like the Pocket 3 and tell you about it from my personal experience and not just review unit experience. And hopefully that will let me continue to put off taking sponsored content videos. I might have to do that someday just to make ends meet, but right now I'm trying not to for as long as I can, and I hope you appreciate that. Every single one of you who've commented about the quality of my videos have really meant a lot to me. Every single one of you that have subscribed have really meant a lot to me. I came into this without some of the background of a lot of the big YouTubers these days, just a written background, and I've had to learn a lot of skills along the way. And you've been there for all of it, and you've helped me. And I want to thank you so much for that. That's it for now, but stick around because I do have some really cool reviews coming, including that projector in the background. It's really awesome, spoiler alert, and more. Until next time, bye.